Hey guys, for all the hyper riders out there, if you want a smoother gear shift, just follow along this video. You will need few spares from KTM, the first being the gear lever. The part number and the costing for the same is shown in the video. Next, you will need the gear arm as shown. Here is the costing and the part number. Next, you will need the rod assembly as shown in the video. But from this rod assembly, we will be only using the rod joints, and the reason for this I will be explaining in the later part of this video. Now, unboxing the gear lever, we will have to do some minor changes in order to fix this into a Dominar. KTM gear levers has a sealed bearing inside, hence it has low maintenance and will provide smoother gear shifts than stock Dominar one, which has only O-rings inside. As you can see, there is a small protrusion from the gear lever which will affect us from downshifting if installed on Dominar. We will have to grind it down to make enough clearance between the mounting area and the gear lever. As you can see, this is how the gear lever looks after grinding it down. In order to get this smooth and clean grinding, I have used a file to do this. And you can do the same easily at home. Let me explain why should we replace the stock gear assembly with the KTM one. Even though there are no major problems with the gear shifts on Dominar, it is a bit hard and has lot of play on the lever itself. This is because there is a bit more clearance on the lever mount, rods and the gear arm which amplifies on the gear lever. Moreover, there are no bearings inside the stock mounting, allowing it to move left and right, increasing the play. The maintenance for these types of levers is must, as it requires frequent greasing, which we will miss during the regular maintenance. Here, I am using a 6mm Allen key socket to remove the stock gear lever. Those white substance that you see on the threads is Loctite that was used during manufacturing. You can see the O-ring and the shaft itself, which is completely dry due to non-maintenance. Don't forget to take the washer, as we will be needing this to install in the KTM levers. Using a 10mm ring or open-end spanner, remove the gear arm bolt completely. Using a flathead screwdriver, slightly widen the arm gap in order to completely remove the stock gear arm. Now, let's get to the installation part. Start by assembling the KTM gear arm and the gear rod assembly as shown. tighten and lock the 10mm nut using an open-ended spanner. Now, thread the other end of the tie rod assembly to the gear lever and tighten the 10mm nut to secure it. Now, the gear lever assembly is ready for installation. Insert a 6mm 1-inch long Allen bolt with a washer into the gear lever bearing. Insert a spacer followed by the washer that we removed from the stock gear assembly. Tighten the gear lever assembly to the bike as shown in the video. Now, let's fix the gear arm to the gear shaft. At this point, I realized that the KTM gear rod is a bit too long for Dominar. Hence, I'll be using the stock rod itself. The rod joints will remain the same from the KTM. Now, insert the KTM gear arm to the gear shaft and tighten it with 10mm bolt using a ring or an open-end spanner. Adjust the lever angle just enough to the point where it has enough clearance to downshift properly. Once the adjustments are made, tighten the 10mm nuts to lock the adjustment. I hope this video had helped all the hyper riders to get a smoother gear shifts. If you like this video, consider subscribing to the channel.